Hey, good afternoon. Wixman Ray here. It's been a few days, guys. Sorry you haven't heard from me, but fortunately the weather's been, mostly quiet across the United States. There's been a few trouble areas, but no, major weather systems to speak of. So, yeah, we're looking at our satellite today. Before I get onto that, let me tell you, today's Saturday, March 21st, 2026. And we're looking at our RGB weather satellite here. Mm-mm. And out west here, we got this is just some high clouds moving across from California and Nevada up through extends out towards South Dakota. So, and this is ahead of a dry cold front that's pushing down through the west here. There is a little bit of weather with that cold front up into Montana, a little bit of rain and snow up into that area. And we got some lower clouds drifting across parts of Montana, North Dakota, and Minnesota there. But a big chunk, of the United States, even the Pacific Northwest, are getting a nice sunny day today. Most of us are nice weather. A few showers and thunderstorms down here across, eastern Tennessee and parts of Western Virginia and a little bit into the Western North Carolina and a little bit down there into South Carolina too. Just some isolated scattered showers and thunderstorms down through there with a little disturbance in the atmosphere there. And we got another weather system up in the north here. Most of it's up into Canada. It's kind of skirting northern Michigan and up into New York and parts of the Northeast there. But and this is the Northeast is where the cold, uh, wintry air for late March here is still holding on tight. So it's not going really anywhere, and I'll show you that here a little bit later on. So yeah, so it's been a few days, guys. I've been busy. I've had all kinds of stuff going on. So yeah, but we'll look out here out west. Yeah, we're close. Even though they got nice weather in Seattle, they're only 48, so but they've had a front go through. There's some gusty winds here and there up to 25, 30 knots, 30 miles per hour or so, maybe a little higher in spots, especially in Montana. Got some snow up there in parts of northeast Montana, extending southward. Um, Southward here, it's a little colder, and they're getting some showers. It looks like just rain down farther south there. So yes, that's where your bulk of your weather is out west. Otherwise, very warm. We've got this front kind of running from Montana down through Idaho and Oregon. Getting some gusty winds out there in southern parts of Idaho, 30, 35 miles an hour. And temperatures up here are still pretty nice, 60s and 70s, some 80s back in Wyoming, so the front hasn't gone through there, 82 in Salt Lake, 70s in northern Nevada, 80 at Reno, 94 in Vegas. Most of California is pretty warm, except for the areas that get the marine layer and stay in the 50s and 60s out there. But the interior of California is, in the 80s. Farther south, they're over 100 degrees out here in Southern California, out here in the deserts. Yeah, 102 at Phoenix, so it's over 100 out here, triple digits. Got some hot weather out there, summer already. Yeah, 95 up there at Winslow, so getting hot. 80 up at Grand Canyon Park, so even up in Grand Canyon. Pretty hot in New Mexico, 80s and 90s, even out there, like Colorado. And a lot of 80s showing up. I'm sure it's cooler up in the mountains. Yeah, some 60s and 70s and the higher elevations. All right. Yeah, and then back here through Texas, we're mainly in the 90s, approaching triple digits, not quite there yet. Um, Very warm across the south in the 80s. A couple spots having the upper 70s, but real nice weather. So yeah, here's some showers and thunderstorms just near Greenville, South Carolina, Spartanburg, near Asheville, up near Knoxville, Tennessee, and then out here, what is that? That looks like a stronger thunderstorm out by Lone Pine, Virginia. Never heard of it, but yeah, in those parts of Virginia there, the eastern part or western part, I should say. Sorry. Yeah, I'm heading back to the north here. Yeah, some cooler air up here in the 30s back here in Maine and parts of Vermont, New Hampshire, and even back into New York. 30s, a few 40s showing up here and there. Getting up into the 50s in New York City, 55, so a little bit warmer there. Yeah, we got a little bit of snow up here, some snow showers up in northern Michigan, nothing too significant. Like I said, most of it's up into Canada. And the cold air, I mean, it's just up in the northern fringe up here near the border. Looks like a little snow trying to get over into North Dakota there. Some rain there. Yeah, so that's what's going on. Fairly quiet weather, really. Most of the weather's across the north. Okay, guys, we'll take a look here at the forecast here. So we'll go back here. So this is for this evening, going into this evening. Yeah, you can see this system back here. We've got a low pressure in a front kind of dipping down through Minnesota and South Dakota, Wisconsin, but very dry on the southern end here. All the precipitation and dynamics are mainly up in Canada, a little bit skirting, like that's what we saw, some rain and snow up here across Montana. Looks like it was mostly snow, but they're painting some rain on the models there. Up into the far northern Dakota and that area. And this is those showers and thunderstorms that we saw in this area this afternoon, and that'll continue through tonight for a while. I mean, kind of see it expands a little bit. By morning, it'll taper off. There might be a few showers, maybe still a thunderstorm or two rumbling around, but it really quiets down overnight. This system, the low pressure, kind of moves off into southern Canada. A little bit of light, precip, rain, snow mix may develop along the front back here in Wisconsin and northern Michigan. And then a little bit of snow and rain up from northern New York up into parts of the Northeast there. So, and then it looks like some moisture trying to move into Washington State, but doesn't quite get to Seattle, it looks like. And then we got some streaks of moisture back here behind that front. That's because the front's going to kind of be dipping down through here. So it's going to cool off up in, the Great Basin by, 10 degrees or so from what it is today. So maybe a little bit breezy for tomorrow where that front is across the west there. So Salt Lake and northern Nevada down towards Reno will drop a little bit in temperature. Stop. No. Okay, as we head through the day on Sunday, this will be our big weather producer here. So we got this low pressure near the east coast and a cold front dipping south through the Ohio Valley and the mid-Atlantic through tomorrow. It looks like a good chance of some, slight risk of severe. The main threat looks like wind and, damaging wind and hail. The Storm Prediction Center here's got a threat here from Pennsylvania, West Virginia, parts of Maryland, down southern Ohio and southern Indiana, parts of Kentucky there. So, yeah, so there's a slight risk in this where the yellow is, and then kind of a marginal risk surrounding it. So there's definitely a threat of some severe thunderstorms tomorrow and tomorrow night out through that area. So that'll be your main weather maker for tomorrow. Significant weather maker. And then on the northern edge, you still got some snow up in the northeast there. You might get a couple inches of snow. So winter's still hanging on tight up there as we head towards almost the last week of March now. As we go into Monday morning, there's still some lingering snow, and looks like we'll have some showers and thunderstorms through the morning, but it looks like by midday it starts to taper off. There might be some isolated stuff still going on Monday back here. and the front kind of dips south. And this area, they have a threat of some thunderstorms back through here, showers and thunderstorms, and just a marginal risk what the Storm Prediction Center had. I'll show you that. Kind of extending from southeast Virginia or southeast North Carolina down through, South Carolina, parts of eastern Georgia. So this general area might see some showers and thunderstorms as we go through the day on Monday and Monday night. So otherwise, the rest of the U.S. is real quiet. Looks like the winds start to pick up across the high plains, from West Texas all the way up through Kansas, Nebraska, and parts of South Dakota there. So a little bit of gusty winds anyways, nothing too crazy. Okay, so we see our next system dip out of Canada, another little front, and it'll kind of clip the Minnesota and Wisconsin again with some rain and snow, but nothing too significant. This front drags south, may bring a few showers and thunderstorms on Tuesday from Georgia down into northern Florida there. So that's what we got going on there. It looks like we got a new system coming across the west coast as we head into Tuesday with some rain and some mountain snows back here across Pacific Northwest on Tuesday. We still see those lingering showers and thunderstorms across the southeast on Tuesday. Yeah, and here's that next, another little clipper across the north, the same general area. You'll see some snow back here, just near the borders, way up north. Up here as we go into Wednesday, a little bit of rain up in northern Idaho and parts of Montana. As that first system from Washington kind of weakens and pushes inland on Wednesday. Still got some moisture, more rain as mountain snow for Seattle. So I got to cool down, but I don't know if they're going to get snow down for the lower elevations around Seattle. But the models are painting a little more snow in here, so something to watch as we go into Wednesday night out there towards Thursday morning. Thursday morning, this system came out of the northern Rockies, brings some rain and snow up through North Dakota and Minnesota. A little windy back behind it, the colder air kind of up and through here, so a cold front will dip down on Thursday. Looks like we got more showers and thunderstorms kind of moving across the plains there with this system here, right from Iowa, Missouri down into Illinois and back through here. So yeah, so that's about where I'll end this story for today. We're starting to get more into the spring pattern where we're seeing more and more thunderstorms, so things get a little more complicated on exactly where these features are going to be and where the storms pop. But we get the models are pretty good about the general the general area of coverage and stuff, but not so much on the exact locations. All right, so I think that's all. I was going to show you just one more thing here, the temperatures. So you can kind of see here, it's cooler. Here's that front that's coming through here. So we got some cooler temperatures back behind that front, 40s and 50s. We saw some 30s up here with snowing, so it's a little bit colder where it's snowing. So the models aren't quite the forecast isn't panning out maybe for parts of this area, Montana, and pretty warm though for the rest of the U.S. except for the northern Great Lakes down through the Northeast, still in the 30s and 40s, and that's really not going to change through most of the week. It might fluctuate a few degrees, but so yeah. So let's show you what happens. This area is going to really drop too. Look at like this, South Dakota into Iowa and Nebraska. Watch the change as we go into Sunday. Look at that. They drop 30, 35 degrees. They go from 90s to 60s for Sunday. So more closer to normal, as it was very much above normal with those 90s up here. So yeah, and this is where the cooler air is across the northern plains, Great Lakes, and the Northeast on Sunday. A little cooler across the west, even back here across northern Nevada. If you look on Sunday, it was close to 80, and we've dropped almost 10 degrees out here. So little bit of a cold front affecting at least the northern half of the west here into the Great Basin, Northern Rockies. And then Monday, so it starts to moderate back here. Still real nice across the west. It starts to warm a little more back here, but the cold air is still kind of hung up here across the northeast and up into the Midwest and northern plains. So 40s, 50s, and some 30s farther north. Stop it. Go. And then on Tuesday, pretty much not a big change there. Moderates a little bit through this area, 5-10 degrees warm up, but this area is still going to stay cool as we go into Tuesday. And all the way through midweek, it starts warming up through the plains here for the most part. And it's just locked in back here. And, you know, the northern Rockies still a little cool. Thursday's kind of, yeah, we keep seeing those fronts dropping through and kind of, you know, doing the roller coaster of temperatures up here in the northern plains. Yeah, you can see the northeast just, I mean, it looks like they start seeing a couple 50s on Thursday. They're teasing you, but by Friday, look at that. There it goes again. Drops down. Another cold front's pushing down. So across the Great Lakes and the Northeast and even parts of the plains is here it's going to be yo-yoing, you know, it'll warm up and cool down, but winter doesn't want to quite release its grip up through this area as we go through all the way through. That's getting close to the end of March, so that's what we're looking like. That's all I've got for today. Appreciate y'all, and this is Wixman Ray out.